Hello all. Before we begin the video, let's discuss CloudFoundation. CloudFoundation is the premier online training platform to help individuals and organizations gain knowledge and skills in the ever-growing cloud computing industry.
Favorite topic, which is linking Suitelet with Client Script. First, okay, so let's think about a scenario. You guys remember when we talked about Suitelet? We discussed that we use Suitelet. Let's say, if there's a need to create a custom screen or form, custom page, whatever we call it now. Similarly, whatever we discussed on Suitelet, let's say, we created a custom page where we had some fields, created as filters. And then you have a submit button and a save and a clear button, for example, right? Now, on click of a submit button, whatever is needed, you do that, maybe in the post function now. Submit button is a standard button, so as soon as you submit, it works. And save or submit right now, for example, you have enabled a clear button. Okay, now what needs to be done on clear button? General expectation is that, as soon as you click on clear button, all the filter, all the data, whichever you have entered in the form, should be reset or should be cleared up. So now to do that on click of a button, which you're doing on UI right as soon as you click a button. The way we can achieve this functionality is by calling a client script on that button click. So what we do, we call a client script from the Suitelet, and then you define a function in that client script which will clear out all these field values. Okay, and once you clear out all these field values, this is the fun. And then you return or come back to Suitelet. Now what happens in this case? As soon as you define your button format button right, which is named as clear, you put that function name also along with that parameter. I'll tell you how we do that. So, along with the function, along with the button name, we provide the function name of the client script. So as soon as you create a button, on click of that button, that particular function of client script will be called. Whatever functionality we have written over there will be executed, and that's how you link it. So that's a very basic example of linking Suitelet to the client script. You could have any number of functions. Like you have a search button. Now, on click of a search button, you call a client script. From client script, you capture all the filter values and return it back to Suitelet. So from client to Suitelet, and Suitelet from Suitelet back to client. So this is all can be achieved, and this is how we do it. Because you cannot click on a button is a UI event. So that can be achieved only using a client script. Now how we do that is, so we have this API called form client script module path. Here, you need to pass the entire path of that particular client script. For example, you have this form client script module path. And this is the path of client script which is under Suite script, and this is the name. Right. So when you go to Documents, Files and Suite script, so let's say we have this. Where is our client script? This one for that matter, right? So you have this client script, so your path would be Suite script. So this is your client script. For example, so you have to give the path as the suite script / the file of the name. I mean the name of the file. So if I have this as my client script, I'll put it as suite script. /cljs. Yeah. Now what it does. It enables or basically sets that you are going to use this particular client script in that form inside that script, wherever you're creating or using a form. Now your client script file, client script path is enabled. If you now, in this case, what is? You can use this one, or there is similar API called Form Client Script File ID, where you just need to provide the internal ID of the file. Okay, the only thing which differs in these two APIs, if you want to use Client Script File ID, then you have to deploy that client script, and then only you can use this API. In this case, you don't have to create a script record and deployment. You just have to upload it in the file cabinet, and then you can directly access it. So you just have. This is a client script file. But you have not created a script record and deployment because you're not directly accessing it. You're accessing it through a Suitelet, for that matter. So you don't need to deploy, and you can use this API. You can just provide the entire path. And this client script will be triggered. Now what we did Now we have enabled or, provided the client script path, so this client script can be utilized. Now, inside that you have Format button. Now inside Format button you have a parameter called function name. You have ID, you have a label and then your form. So let's say, if I'm creating a Format button, you provide the ID of button, which could be any, and then you have a label. So in this case, we provide the ID as small letters, clear, and then label as clear in camel case, and then third parameter would be your function name, which will be the function name of the client script you are using, which we have already enabled in the start, using client script, Client script module path, and then you can call this function name here. So now what happens? Whenever this button will be clicked or used, that function will trigger, and whatever logic you have written inside, that function will be executed. So first thing, what we did form client script module path here. We set the path, and then we have Format button. Where we have parameter first is ID. Then you have label. And then you have function name. Okay, now let's say the function name. We have written this on. Click, so that might arise in the client script label. Let's say we made it as clear. And ID. Let's say clear. So now, this is how you now, whatever happened, as soon as you click on this button, this particular function, which is named as onClick, will trigger now definition of that function you have. You will write in this client script now what you need to do in this button, client script. Now what we need to do is we need to clear out all the field values. So whatever fields are there on the form, you will have to clear out the field values. You have created a form, and you have enabled all the fields that will work as a current record for client script write. Yes. Current records that value. Yes. Set the value as blank. Yeah, ID. You will pass the field ID, and then you have value. What you will do. Value is a blank. That's it. Right. We can do that. Yes, 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 this way, right? Yeah. So in that case, what we'll do? We'll set all these field values, and then at the end, we will call this clients. We can call or come back to the original. We don't have to. We are already there only. Yeah, so it will work. You will clear out the field values and that's it. So do we. Where is the suite script name defined here? Sorry, where is the suite script? Is that the suite script name defined? So CLJS, I thought it was a client script. No, this is one file name I can see on the suite script folder. This is actually a client script file name. Okay, I think Kishore only created it. Yes, yeah. So this is actually a file which is a client script, and this is also a suite script folder. Oh, okay, sure. Okay, so this is how we do call a client script from a suite.
And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.